How you doing, movie fans, and welcome back to The Potato, where we're just a whirlwind of movie news and reviews from a couch potato. And if this is your first time here, I would really appreciate your support. Please subscribe. So, sometimes when a movie studio goes out of business, you can trace it back to one film in particular that bombed so hard that it was just the final nail in the coffin for that film studio. So today, I would like to take a look at the 1995 film Cutthroat Island and how it sank Carolco Pictures. Let's take a look.
It's impossible to talk about Cutthroat Island without first giving a brief history and talking about how a studio could go from producing various hit titles in the late 80s and early 90s, such as Terminator 2 Judgment Day, Basic Instinct, Rambo, and Total Recall, to then Cutthroat Island being their last hope of survival. For that, we go back to 1976, when Carolco Pictures was formed by two men, Mario Kacer and Andrew Vajna. But it wasn't until 1980 where they would catch a huge break. Warner Brothers had given up on trying to adapt a novel into a film, so they sold the rights to Carolco for $335,000. Well, that novel just happened to be Rambo First Blood, and we all know how that turned out. Rambo was a huge hit. And just like that, Carolco was no longer just a small-time independent studio. And the success of Rambo sequels only generated more revenue and attention in the late 80s. To maintain this level of success, they started offering stars more money than the other movie studios, and became known for their excessive spending on private jets, parties, and limos. This excessive spending would continue into the 90s. And just to give you an idea of how ridiculous it was getting, when Arnold Schwarzenegger signed on for Terminator 2, they gifted him a $17 million jet in addition to his $14 million salary.
What?
This company spent money like they never expected any of their films to fail at the box office. And that's just crazy. 'Cause, yeah, some of them definitely did. So you can probably guess where this is going. Anyone with the slightest bit of common sense would know that spending more than you're actually making isn't a formula for success. That's the short version. So with the studio hanging on by a thread, we now get to Cutthroat Island. In 1994, Carolco had to choose between keeping one of two films in production, Cutthroat Island or a project called Crusade, which was going to be directed by Paul Verhoeven and starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. With costs continuing to rise, executives at Carolco wanted a guarantee from Verhoeven that production wouldn't run over the $60 million budget. And after a very annoyed Verhoeven couldn't guarantee this, Carolco decided to pull the plug on Crusade and go all in on Cutthroat Island. It's crazy to think how quickly a film company could go from being so elite after producing a string of hits with high-profile actors to now needing to rely solely on a Gina Davis, Matthew Modine pirate movie to bail them out. With so much riding on this production, you would think things would go smoothly, right? Oh, hell no. If there was ever a sign from the gods that Carolco Pictures was meant to close its doors for good, it's the production of Cutthroat Island. First, Matthew Modine replaced Michael Douglas after the director, Rennie Harlin, refused to increase Douglas's role, because he was set on making his wife, Gina Davis, the lead. Then came the delays due to injuries on set, sicknesses, set pieces unintentionally catching fire, and even pipes breaking to allow raw sewage into some of the water tanks that were being used to shoot the action scenes. And in the end, Cutthroat Island's production budget had swelled to somewhere around $100 to $120 million. And this is in 1994. Its losses, when adjusted for inflation today, fall somewhere between $150 and $200 million. Carolco then sold off their assets, and today most of their film catalog is now owned by a French studio called Studio Canal.
So Carolco Pictures was just simply a movie studio that thought throwing money at everything could solve all their problems. And while they did have some obvious success early on, it just isn't a sustainable business formula. Well, everybody, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next week. Thanks.
Potato.